Hey, hey, hey! Hello, everybody. I hope you're well. Hello, Arnold. Just can you tell me if you can hear me well?
I can hear you very well. I was
How are you,
texting.
brother?
I'm good. I'm good. I was promoting actively this space, so I had to
Really?
interrupt myself. Yes. Are you
Okay.
are you pleased?
I'm sure. Sure I am.
How about you? Because you're on the other side of the world almost now.
Yes.
So did you
Definitely.
sleep?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Honestly, yes, because I wanted to be on top this morning. So yeah, I slept yesterday at around 11 local time. So it's 5 here.
Brilliant.
Um, let's introduce this new GMMVX edition. So welcome everybody. For almost a year now, I've been taking my community every Tuesday and Friday in the exciting world of Web3, NFT, and cryptocurrencies. And it was time to make this format in English. And so now it's done every Wednesday in the morning at 9 a.m. UTC. And I won't be alone because I am with two great co-hosts. First of all, we have Arno, ambassador, Atom Protocol ambassador, co-founder of Drifters, and Web2 and Web3 entrepreneur. Arno, I will ask again, how are you today?
I'm doing great, my friend. I'm very happy to be there, and there's an exciting program today.
Oh, by the way, yesterday I slept on your voice. Since I wasn't yeah, I wasn't able to attend the GMM, the French GMMVX of yesterday that you hosted, and so I wanted to listen to it in replay, and so I put in my AirPods and I slept on it. So congrats for yesterday. It was just amazing. At least just before I slept because I did not finish it. It
I
was
don't know. Maybe what you're saying is that we can pivot into like meditation podcast or getting people to
ASMR.
sleep. Yeah,
Ça se dit,
exactly.
ça se dit ASMR en anglais? Non, si.
I don't know.
ASMR, right? Bon. Yes, I'm sure we can. You can with your voice. Not maybe not with mine, but with yours, yes, maybe. So let's dive in the agenda of today. Again, a great program, and we already have our guest in the audience. So today we'll start by speaking about the MultiversX's communication and the complaints about it, and we will have a little chat about the different events that happened this last day. And yeah, let's try to make an opinion about it. Is it that bad, or actually is it just a new way of doing marketing with teasing and esotericism and enigmas and so on? That's the first question we will try to answer this morning. After, we will receive Mark Paul, founder and CEO of Itheum. So, Mark, I know you're already here. If you want to say hi, or if you even want to participate in the first topic, please just raise your hand and I will give you the mic. After, we will receive a Solana and Solana mobile engineer, Olivier, that will come and try to explain Solana's breakdown of yesterday. So it will be interesting for all of us. I saw on Twitter, so MultiversX, Cult Boys, just trying to FUD Solana for this breakdown, and some other just asking, so what the fuck with this blockchain? It's been 1 year, it was not down, and now it happens again for several hours. So let's try to understand how and what happened exactly, even if he told me yesterday that actually all the reasons are not found out yet. So we'll just try to understand what's happening on Solana and why sometimes there's breakdown. And last but not least, I will speak about the builders grumbling. Since we saw this post from Eddie of BH Network, but the truth is, many others on backstage are complaining to me, but not only to me. So there too, we'll try to figure out what's behind this. Is it relevant? Because they're like two vision of the thing. Stop complaining and start building. That's the Benny's vision, and all the Maxis uh, vision. And the other vision is like, okay, builders are building for years now, for months now, and nothing happened. So if if things don't change within the maybe next 6 or 8 months, they will die. And so that's what we'll speak all together. So let's start this GMMVX. Feel free to like, repost, comment on the comment section. Give your opinion without any filter. We're here to say what you think, what we think, sorry, and just be assured that the truth is in general in the middle of this discussion. Okay, so feel free to give your opinion. I am sad because Joachim is not here yet. So we'll start without him, no problem. And I will let you know when he can join. So let's start with the first topic with Arno. And of course, first of all, guys, retweet the Twitter space to attract more people, because more people means more opinion. Okay. So first of all, let's speak about the MultiversX communication. So the context is known by everybody. We had the known announcement after the countdown. We had the re-announcement about the Bitvalue listing. We have the code challenge with $2,000 for 20 winners, so 100,000 per winner. We had Benny that decided to block me yesterday. So these sequences in terms of marketing made the community speak, and including me. Everybody knows. But let's just not speak about me for the moment. Arno, I will ask your opinion, my brother, about all these sequences on the row. Do you think what do you you are a marketing guy also, you're a business guy, but you're also a marketing guy. So what do you think about this? Is it that bad, or actually do you see some genius in this marketing? Because some people say this.
So, to be honest, to me, this is more in the communication realm than marketing realm, even if it, there's a blurry line between both. Yesterday on the French edition of GMMVX, we had builders, key opinion leaders of the MultiversX community around to talk about marketing, about what is the goal for a layer one blockchain marketing strategy. So who do you want to target and who do you want to attract? And there was a consensus that was relatively the same that came out after last week's GMMVX on Wednesday in English. The MultiversX responsibility, the foundation's responsibility is to attract builders. This is how you build use cases on your blockchain and you attract, in the end, users. So, coming back to your question, I think that the communication that was made towards the community with the countdown, that we could also call the meltdown now, was a big fail. I mean, it's fun because last week we were talking about it because the next day or was it on the same day, last Wednesday in the evening that the announcement came out, or was it the day after? I don't recall, but we were super excited, and I think the community was overly hyped about this countdown, and so this was a communication strategy directly towards the users, hyping up people about what was going to come out of this. And it was in everybody's sense opinion poorly planned because it overhyped everybody. And so the outcome is actually deserving now the whole point, because what has been coming out after. Yeah, so, sorry, you want to.
No. Just and it's true that during our previous GMMVX, I remember that I kept repeating that I don't have hypothesis about what will occur after the breakdown. Why? Because nothing can justify such a countdown. So even me, I was just saying, okay, whatever would happen, it will not be enough. And actually, well, the answer was nothing happens. So yeah, you're right.
What's what's a, this has become a problem because everybody was expecting something. Some people, like Stefana from Pulsar Money, she was in expectation management. If you remember, she was all about it's brilliant because it brought the community together. I don't know what we can expect. I'm not expecting too much out of it. Okay. But the vast majority of people thought that after such a countdown, it was the first time Benjamin did this. So everybody was expecting something special
Not
because
really.
they were. No, not really.
No, I mean the countdown, yes, but yeah, he already did in the past some like big teasing that made the community a little disappointed, and that's
Yeah.
why
But did he do something where he didn't tweet anything else for 23 days,
no.
but
I mean
this?
no. You're right. This thing was the first. I was just speaking about like some very FOMO marketing with a big wave. With like a big announcements coming soon. You know what I mean? I mean, it was not the first, but yeah, you're right. This exact thing was the first. Uh, can I ask you a question, and I will let you continue because it's very interesting because you're so much nuanced than me, and that's why I love you, Arno. Do you think that Benny has caught himself at his own game, as if he had lit a fire he could not longer control?
Yes, 100%. To me, the community, because maybe the MultiversX community, the MultiversX Foundation, when they decided to do this, because I hope that Benjamin doesn't decide this kind of strategy and execution alone. So when they decided this, I think they didn't expect the community to respond in such a brilliant way. And that's why, if I had to say, to distribute good points and bad points to MultiversX in regards of communication and marketing, I would say that on the business side of things, they're good. They're good. They're serious. This is why we see big corporations starting to work with the blockchain. This is why we see, even if it's small states, Liechtenstein, discussions with Lugano in Switzerland, etc., etc. They're good on this because
Yeah.
they play by the rules, and so that's good. But on
Yes
the
and yes and no, because for example, the X Money announcement did not had the echo it deserved. We spoke.
I went to see on
Yeah.
the press releases, and actually you had quite a few. you had BFM in France. You had various ones in crypto. You had Cointelegraph, etc., etc. You have some of the biggest ones. Maybe we just have I only have the word in French. Un délit de sale gueule. People
You
just
think some
don't want.
préjugés about a Romanian blockchain?
I
No.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
But
I don't want
okay,
to fall into the conspiracy theory, but you know, my point was on that side of
that's
things,
interesting. Mm.
they're good. Um, but on the degen B2C side of things, it's not their strong suit. And that countdown, I mean, if we're honest about it, until the day of the announcement, it was brilliant. The community was super vocal. So much content was created by the community. It was brilliant. If something at the end had arrived with a big announcement,
Yeah,
um,
but it's dystopia. I mean, yeah, but the thing is, do we have to thank the community, or do we have to thank the MultiversX team? What did the community, the memes, and so on? I mean, isn't it too easy to say, okay, guys, what you did was just crap, but the community made it something great. And also, why do you think Benny waited until the last day to reduce this fire by saying there won't be any announcement? He had more than 20 days, maybe, to try to calm a little the community, but no, he decided to speak privately with people. He interacted with the memes, so he increased the hype, and he knew that he was doing this really like a child playing with a fire a lot, and after he get burnt, and he say, "Hey guys, you're just when announcements here, guys." So that's, in my opinion, disrespectful, and in my opinion, all what happened after the FUD, the critics, the builders' complaints, and so on, everything was just revealed because it's not new actually. But the countdown was like a catalyseur. Comment on dit catalyseur? Bouge pas. Hop. Was a catalyst.
a catalyst event, yeah,
That's
catalyst.
my hypothesis.
Yeah,
That,
yeah,
and what do
and
you think about this?
yeah, I completely agree. Yesterday, it was actually the starting point of our discussion with about the multiple-sex marketing. It was the fact that um, once the end of the countdown occurred, suddenly everybody was sweeter. There was bitterness in everybody's heart,
And
and
shame. And shame, brother. You know
yeah,
what? I
yeah,
think
yeah.
we did not speak enough about shame. You can't imagine how many messages, private messages of people that said me, you know what? I'm defending MultiversX for years from being just a marketing blockchain and so on. But what happened now? I can't defend them anymore. It's too hard to defend them. It's like it's even like for Solana, if they break down just once a year, okay, you can defend. You can say, we have millions of transactions. It can happen. We're improving. Okay, imagine there is breakdown every week. Of course, even the Solana boys will say, okay, it's too hard to defend you. Just to take an analogy with the next topic. So shame, not only bitterness because EGLD did not pump and so on. We know that the EGLD will not pump just through X. We're not stupid, guys. Okay, but
Yeah.
the shame, I think, is worse. What do you think about this?
But I think I try not to let ego too much into my judgment, especially not mixing it with my investment strategy. I think people who get offended by such things are people who I understand, of course, I deep down I can
You
feel
know
it a
that
bit.
the community is feeling in his heart the
Yes, but
needed.
in a few
This is
months,
Web3.
in a few months, everything will be forgotten. This is my perspective. I think we people who are in Web3 every day, we want it to go much faster. But the truth is, and I absolutely disagree with you on the Solana thing. I mean, Ethereum uh, doesn't halt. I mean, Solana breakdown even once a year is catastrophic. It's a catastrophic message. For whatever reason, I'm interested in discovering what Olivier later on will say to us, of course. And I'm not bashing Solana. I just think Solana today is the blockchain that has the most eyes on it. It is a blockchain infrastructure, and when it halts, it says to everybody around, blockchain is not ready. Blockchain is not ready for mainstream, for mass adoption. And the truth is, it is not. So today, Solana is, because of the traction it has on the media, it is the lighthouse of the blockchain movement. And I think it's sad because it is a blockchain that doesn't work. So to me, what we're talking about, it is of course important because marketing and communication is important to any business model. It is important to any serious company, and MultiversX is a serious company. But I'd rather have our problems than a blockchain that halts.
I get it. I actually, we will speak about Solana, I think, after that. I think you're wrong because Solana is like any other network. It has to be tried and tested, and the millions of transactions and every breakdown make it stronger, in my opinion. That's what happened to internet and all the previous technology, and even Bitcoin. So, it's not like.
I don't disagree, my friend. I
So I
absolutely
think
don't disagree. I'm just
in a
saying that
long-term point of view, I think it will make Solana better and bigger and stronger. If, of course, if the Solana Labs fix these things, and I'm sure they will because they have the resources for this, and because they have this experience. But in the long term, it will make it stronger. This marketing sequences that are not the first actually will I'm not sure it will make the network stronger and it will attract more people, and that's what we need. Just you know what? We will end this. No, not end. If you have guys, and I will read some comments of you in the Arno. If you want to say a final word, of course you will be able to do it. But for my part, you know what? I would just say that my thought in a second. I feel sorry for the whole MultiversX team, which is doing a monstrous job and has no control over the team's marketing, which is undoubtedly monopolized by Benny and maybe one or two other people. So, just to be clear, when I say my opinion about the marketing, it does not say anything about the tech and all the efforts of the MultiversX team, and that's why I'm here, and I will stay here, and I will keep using, promoting, and loving this blockchain. And so big shoot out to, I will not name people, but I know and I am sure that even within, even in the MultiversX team, some people would have done things differently. So let's not put like MultiversX in just one thing, because I know there are different people deciding different things. So yeah, uh, I will read some comments that are interesting, and we'll see. For me, it's the countdown. If Yeah, that's an interesting point of view from Larry Cover, the best meme maker this last days. For me, if the countdown would have ended with the Liechtenstein announcement and with the sequel being built, which was great, except that it came out 2 days before, leaving the community disappointed. It's totally true,
I
in my
agree.
opinion.
Yes, if and that could have been a pivot in their communication strategy that they should have made.
Yeah.
Seeing the hype,
But you know
they
what? It
should.
was ego, brother. It was
No,
ego. Benny's
I,
ego. He
I don't
wanted
know.
to have his
This is
moment.
this is an assumption, but he could have had
Yes,
his moment
of
saying
course.
he could have had his moment announcing that there's a sequel, but starting the sequel with an announcement, and that would have been, and I agree with Larry Covert. They could have announced Liechtenstein, but Liechtenstein is the X money announcement. It's not just a multiverse X, and they have entities, and so
Okay.
the X money team, they're building their stuff too.
I get it. I get it. Also, we have Crypto Jones. Hello, Crypto Jones. I think you are partly right. Just want to add that it's maybe a too short point of view. I think that 6 months from now, with a bigger perspective, we'll maybe get why this event was as big as it was teased. Yeah, that's an interesting point of view because after the countdown, we had a blog post. Okay, and a new sequence, okay, or called Lightspeed thing, okay. So, Crypto Jones, I think you may be right, but it's all about optimizing. I mean, this sequence, if it's that huge, it would have been better to announce it simply like a new sequence, a new name, and so on. But why the countdown? So you're right. Maybe the Lightspeed operation will be a great thing, but does it really deserve a countdown and all this frustration? I think no.
Yesterday
What?
we had a guy, Lucid, and I see him in the space. Hi, Lucid. He was saying exactly the same thing in
Okay.
the substance. Wait and see. Let's not be too rushed in our opinions. You build over months, years. We are right now reviewing after days, which is fine. But also, let's not forget that you build things over years.
Okay. Thank you, Arno, for your opinion about this. We did not speak about the Bitvavo re-announcement and the other stuff. Well, there too, when there there is such a drama around marketing after this, guys, think twice before posting something. You know that the community now is à fleur de peau. Comment on dit à fleur de peau?
Yeah, there's bitterness. The knives are
You,
out, and
actually, we
everybody.
can say it in English. À fleur de peau. It exists. People say that. So yeah, please, guys, think twice and let's do it. Maybe Tada Lunchpad was the crazy thing. Uh, no. I don't think so. No, 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 because the thing must be new, and the launchpad, the Tala launchpad was announced on November. So no, I'm not sure. But your name is bullshit, so I think you deserve your name. Just kidding, brother. Apollo mission. Okay, okay. Yeah, someone says Apollo mission taking off in 3, 2, 1 soon. Case study of a failed countdown. Congrats. Okay, so let's keep funny. Let's keep being funny. Let's keep being friendship all together, and let's wish good luck to our lovely blockchain. So now we will start the Marple interview. So I will invite you to speak. And yeah, so Joachim decided not to come this morning. I think he did not woke up, or maybe he had an emergency. I hope he's well. Mark, please. Hello, Mark, and welcome on GMMVX. How are you?
Hey, hey guys, how's it going? I'm good. How are you, man?
We are very, very, very good. Yeah, I don't know if you listened to the first part of the podcast, but maybe before we start our interview, do you have an opinion as a builder about the MultiversX marketing and the countdown and so on? How did you live this sequence, you and your community?
Yeah, yeah. So I did listen to it and it was quite interesting. Before I go any further, if you have any issues with my mic, please let me know because I did have some
No, it's
problems earlier on. It's all
perfect. We
good?
can hear you perfectly. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Perfect, man. Yeah, I mean, I feel the community sentiment. I do definitely because I spend a lot of time on Twitter and my team does, and we are heavily involved in the MultiversX ecosystem. The countdown was like huge, right? Everyone was talking about it. So I think, sometimes maybe people forget that if you announce something on Twitter, there's actually a lot of people looking at it, and maybe you get carried away, and maybe this is what happened. There's two ways to look at it. Maybe it was something that was they didn't expect it to blow out to this proportion, or maybe I think somebody else said it. This might be the beginning of a huge campaign. Maybe there's going to be a lot more announcements in the next few weeks that we can expect. But yeah, I think it's maybe just a lesson in marketing, right? Like you don't overhype things. You set your expectations low and you deliver above that and get everybody. So yeah, we should all learn from this, I guess. But at the same time, from our point of view, we are builders, man. Like, and we're just building through this. We try not to overhype anything that we're doing. We just try to deliver, and I think that's the main message here: is that we should build on MultiversX because the tech's really good. There is an obvious issue that there is not many users in MultiversX, but that's not just only MultiversX. This is a common scenario in many other ones. Um, but yeah, build because you like the tech and enjoy the builder experience. And then there are different ways now. If user base is your issue, uh, then there's you don't have to be just building purely on MultiversX. Build a multi-chain or an omni-chain protocol where you can attract users from other chains. So I think every problem has a solution. So yeah, that's just my thought.
Okay, thank you for your opinion, Mark. Well, I can see in the audience Costinasta, which I like very much from your team. And we have also Plata, Hugo. Hello, Hugo. We have Tikapo. We have many people. We have Rock. Big up, Rock. We have Adam. Okay, Adam, please hold on because we will start Mark Paul interview. And after you will be able to ask any questions you want to Mark Paul. And if it was about MultiversX marketing, it's too late, brother, since we will start the interview. But don't worry, after Mark Paul interview, we'll have a different other topic. So yeah, Mark, we want to
Yeah,
get to know you, and so it will happen like every time on GMMVX. First of all, we will have a little moment, just the two of us, okay? Because I want to know you, your background, Itheum idea, the foundation, and so on. I will ask you a few questions, and after Arno will take the lead to ask you maybe some more business and I don't know, ecosystem questions. And after we will let the community ask that question. So guys, you can ask your question on the comments, on the chat, on the Twitter Space chat. We will read them for you, but also you can take the mic, okay, and come and ask directly to Mark any question you could have. So let's start, Mark. Just like always, can you introduce yourself and tell us what was your background, even before entering in Web3, because I'm sure you did not only do Web3 on your career.
yeah, sure. Firstly, thanks for having me, man. I'm a big fan of the stuff you guys are doing and the community, like market, like with Twitter and all the education stuff you're putting out. So thanks for having me, everybody here. Thanks for joining. So yeah, my name is Mark. I've been in, I guess, tech for about 2 decades. Um, I'm quite unique, but I didn't actually begin my whole tech journey in Web3. I spent about 2 decades in just standard Web2 technology. I began as a software engineer. I moved up the ranks. I ended up in engineering leadership, leading teams that build softwares. I'm based here currently in Australia. I used to work for the Australian government in software development as well, like effectively building the infrastructure in the data side. So after many years, I obviously got bitten by the whole data sort of industry. Like I loved it. What one specific thing that always really annoyed me was the fact that none of us, we generate so much of data every day, and like none of this data we have any access to it or have any say in what happens with it, and it was really bugging me. And initially, Itheum was just a Web2 platform. Actually, it was trying to solve this problem of data ownership using Web2 technologies. But the real pivot happened is when we kind of said, you know what, this is a Web3 problem to solve. And when I say Web3, I'm just saying that Web3 is about ownership, right? We have, just like Bitcoin gives you ownership of your financial assets, Web3 has all this native tooling like NFTs that gives you ownership of non-fungible assets, and data is non-fungible when you think about it. So it seemed like a natural fit. So we kind of took a pivot. We had a lot of technology built, and we just implemented a Web3 layer in front of it. And the Web3 layer is what you are all interacting with today. And that's I can dive into a bit more at a high level of what Ethereum does, but that's my story. I'm now 110% into blockchain technology specifically. To me, blockchain is just another technology. No different, I guess, to like when cloud technology came out and revolutionized everything. Blockchain is the next era of this. So when we look at blockchain, it's just a tool to solve a problem, and the problem is ownership, right? Like
Okay,
you
but
don't get
just
ownership in
which
Web2. Yeah,
on which company? Maybe you don't want to say the name, but maybe on which company you worked before
yeah, sure,
founding Itheum. That's what we want to know. What's your
absolutely.
background and so on.
Yeah, man. So I began working for MSN, Microsoft Network, where I spent
Okay.
about 6 years in their social networking team, working on products like MSN Messenger. I don't know if you guys remember that really old messaging tool. Um, yeah, and then I've worked in a few other companies like Fox Digital, where I was in sort of digital broadcast. And just before Ethereum, I used to work for a company called Health Direct, which is part of the Australian government.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Um, so, um, how and when did you have the idea to launch Ethereum? And was it your idea, or maybe one of a co-founder, or maybe it was a team? Or tell us the genesis of Ethereum, please.
Yeah, I touched on it a little bit. Like about 5 years ago, Itheum was born from. So Itheum, I don't know if you know, means heart in a native language called Tamil, and Itheum launched as a Web2 platform to allow people to collect cardiovascular health data. So basically, data about your heart, and then trade it in a Web2 sort of marketplace. So this was like the genesis of Ethereum, about I guess 6 years ago. And then it evolved. It evolved into a few things. At one point, it was a hardware platform, which actually there was a sensor that would collect Bluetooth data from different health devices. It evolved to like a Web2 cloud platform where you can plug in any sort of health cloud or Fitbit and Strava and all these things into it. So the original version of Ethereum was just a sort of a health data ownership platform in Web2. The About 2 years, 3 years ago, that's when the Web3 part started to come into it. Like, for example, you collect the data and then what do you do next, right? Like, and it just became obvious the next thing you could do is maybe convert it into an NFT. We call it data NFTs. So that was the next generation, and that's, I guess, when the team formed around the Web3 part of it. Took part in a bunch of hackathons. We won 4 hackathons. Then we got some attention. We got some from investors as well as the MultiversX Foundation. And that's, I guess, the genesis of Ethereum in Web3.
Okay. And why and how did you choose MultiversX blockchain to build on?
Yeah, that's a great story, man. So like when the first product that we built, it was
Where
actually
you
built on
from?
Polygon.
Yeah, sorry, just maybe it will help understand.
Yeah.
Where you from?
Where am I from? Is that
No, I mean, which nationality is Itheum? Where are you guys? Where is the company based?
we're global, man. We're truly global. So we got we're a distributed team, completely decentralized team. I'm based here in Australia, but we got team in Dubai,
Yeah,
Africa,
but the
Middle East,
headquarter,
Romania.
where is it based?
We have a couple of companies, mainly I would say Middle East, like Dubai is where we have one
Okay,
company that's the operating entity,
okay.
one of the operating entities.
Okay. This is because sometimes the place where you build the company will help choosing the
Got it.
blockchains.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. So we actually, yeah, we were building on Polygon, and we built the first version of the data DEX and the data
Okay,
NFT
that's
technology on
interesting.
Polygon. Yeah, and it was like no particular reason. It's just that I was a bit of an Ethereum developer, so I started working on Polygon. But then we took part in a couple of hackathons. One was the Polygon hackathon, one was the Morales hackathon. And in the Morales hackathon, Elrond was a sponsor, right? And this was like two plus years ago. This is when they just launched their mainnet. They were one of the co-sponsors of the Morales hackathon, and we had no idea who Elrond was. But as part of the hackathon, we built our solution on EVM, and the only SDK Elrond had at that time, this was like 2+ years ago, was a wallet login where you could just log in and get an ERD address and you couldn't do anything else. So we integrated that as well. And I think that kind of caught the attention of them, even though we didn't do anything. Like we were like, okay, we used it. And yeah, so we were one of the winners of that hackathon. And then because we did win it, we got introduced to all the sponsors. MultiversX was one. Through them, we also met Morningstar Ventures as well, the lead investor who was very close to MultiversX.
Okay. Thanks for this. So let's dive in Etheum. So just to summarize, can you pitch Etheum in 1 minute?
Yeah. So Itheum is a data ownership protocol that lets you take ownership of your data and mint them as NFTs. Simply put, man, we're just an NFT infrastructure platform, no different to like an NFT marketplace, but all the NFTs minted and traded and used in the Ethereum ecosystem have real world data attached to it, therefore increasing the utility of the NFT, increasing the utility of the data. Hopefully
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Another question is about the different milestones you already achieved. Can you tell us the story of Ethereum from the beginning to now? Sorry, it's the clim. Comment on dit la clim?
AC.
Yeah, AC. So can you just take your time and explain us from the beginning, the foundation of the project, the launchpad, because I think I remember you had the X launchpad, and after what you build. So take the time you want to explain us what you built so far, and if we have question, Arno and I will interrupt maybe to understand better what you did so far. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do actually would love the questions because the questions would help me also
Yeah,
kind of
they will
dive into
they will
anything that
come.
might not be clear.
They will come.
Cool, man. Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So yeah, we launched in we were the second Launchpad project, and we this was about I think a year and a half ago. The first, so as I was saying, Ethereum is just think of it as a NFT infrastructure platform, and what I mean by that is there's a marketplace, there's a minting platform, there are integrations that you can integrate with, there's SDKs. The only difference is the NFTs that come out of Ethereum's infrastructure are called data NFTs, and you can attach data to it, right? Now, the first product that we launched was, I guess, what we call the Data Dex. It's the portal into Itheum, and you can log in with your MultiversX wallet, and then effectively now you're inside this NFT data NFT infrastructure portal. So you are able to mint data NFTs. This is just like minting another NFT collection. It's got art, it's got royalties, it's got supply, it's got all of these things. We support the SFT standard, which is the semi-fungible standard, the NFT standard as well. So you can mint just like you would with any other platform, regular NFTs with your own art. But the difference is when you mint, you can point it to a real world data asset. I'll give you an example. If you are a musician and you are producing some original music, this is a real world data asset, right? So you can actually just point your NFT to this data asset, and then whoever owns this NFT, when you list it or share it with somebody, can get access to your data asset. Now, what's cool about Ethereum is that unlike like even with the regular NFTs, you could mint a single music song into an NFT. With Ethereum, you can mint using data streams, we call them, and basically what that means is the musician can change the playlist at any given time. So the musician might mint a data NFT with 5 songs, and a week from now they can add another song, and it's like a dynamic sort of stream. So you are incentivized to hold this NFT because you can always get new content, right? So this is quite a new way to look at NFTs. So we launched the DataDex, which lets you mint these collections. We have our own NFT marketplace called the Data NFT Marketplace, where you can do all the other things you can do with a regular NFT marketplace. You can trade them, you can see the floor price, you can get the best offers, you can do all this kind of stuff. We also have another tool called Itheum Explorer, which is a tool that you would take your data NFTs to go and visualize the data. So in that example of the musician, you can get your music data NFT, go over to Ethereum Enterprise, and we've got a widget, we call them data widgets, built for this data NFT. If you hold it in your wallet, you just log in and music streams out. So we've got a music player built and you can listen to music. So that's the Ethereum Explorer that's already on mainnet as well. But the other thing that we've launched is our infrastructure platform. So what this is that if we have got SDKs and all these software development kits and all these tools where if you are any other project, so let's say you're building a social media platform and a Web3 social media platform, and you want to get some of your users to own their data, right? Take ownership of their data, maybe share it, and then trade it with some organization that wants to give them ads or sell them ads. They could use Ethereum under the hood to create this data ownership layer. So we provide all the SDKs, all the tooling, all the smart contracts, and they just like plug into Ethereum's platform. But ultimately, our goal is we want to tokenize all data using data NFTs, and then we become this marketplace for data NFTs. That's the ultimate goal of Ethereum. So most of our technology is out. There's a couple of key building blocks we are working on right now. I think before I go
Mark,
on,
yeah,
man,
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
just
yeah.
maybe stop there.
I'm going to take over so you can catch your breath. Thanks a lot for presenting all this brilliant ecosystem of products that you have built and you're building. And I want to maybe take the conversation a bit away from the product and more go into the vision, because Itheum is, in my opinion, one of the companies that tackles, we can see huge opportunities because of the creation of blockchain technology. But those massive opportunities, they challenge the status quo. Blockchain opens the door for people to own their own money. We've seen the rise of a new financial system that is currently very small. And if you think about it, everybody has been trusting banks for now centuries to have custody of our money. And so it's engraved in who we are. And so to people, it's very hard to imagine owning their own money. The same occurs with you. we are in an era, it's not as old as banks, but we are in an era where data has been created as a new resource by protocols companies, and it never occurred to us that we could own it, and we just give it out like this every day when we surf the web, when we use social media platforms. We are the product in many products we use, and we don't even care about it because we have never been confronted to the fact that it's bad. I mean, as you said, this data is your creation, is your resource, and it's a digital resource that is very valuable when it's at scale. So you have, pardon me the expression, huge balls to tackle this, because similar to the banking system, we can see the current fintech companies coming out of Web3 being crushed in Europe by the regulatory legislation that is put in place. It costs a ton of money to comply, so it slows down the innovation and it favors the current banking system. How do you see this thing unraveling for you? Because it's going to be the same pushback on your end from the tech giants that are currently owning the data market.
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked this question, right? Because it changes the dynamic of the conversation. Because we were talking about product and all of that. That's great, but like realistically, like you were saying, right? Like how can we push this through into the mainstream when we're going to get pushback from all these big corporations and beasts, right? Now, that example that you used is awesome. The example of we are so used to giving our financial assets to banks because they give us a great user experience, right? I can use my ATM, I can walk into the bank, I can get some cash out. But guess what? In 2008, I believe, all that changed when we suddenly realized these banks were betting against us, right? So with that financial crisis, it immediately became apparent that banks are not on our side, and that was the birth of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was born out of frustration that our financial assets don't belong to us, right? And this was a bottom-up adoption. It came out of nowhere because people got so frustrated, and a bunch of really smart tech people put together this protocol that lets you own your financial assets. So there was this, like if you think about banks, we all trusted banks. There was this huge event in the globe, in the world, that took away that trust, and then a new protocol was born called Bitcoin that lets us own our financial assets. Now with Ethereum, we see this coming too, because we think data is just another asset, just like your money is your financial asset, data is your asset, and it has value when you own it. At some point, there is going to be an event in the globe where it's going to hit us that we control none of our data assets. And this event could be in the form of a widespread hack that would affect all the cloud companies, right? Because all our data is stored in centralized repositories in like 3 clouds or 4 clouds. If there's a single attack on one of these clouds and that spreads, and all of a sudden, all of us lose our identity and we lose our credit card details, our everything, right? Like our identity is gone. This is when I think we'll have that Bitcoin moment for data, where we were like, oh, hold on a minute. All of this is my data. I want
But
ownership
Mark,
of it. And I
we
think this
had
is what
major
we're trying
fuck
to,
ups like this in the past. I mean, unless we're talking about a nuclear meltdown where I don't know, but you can, even with centralized storage, you can have big security. And we had, I mean, a few days ago we had a Binance data leak. I remember years ago we had I think it was Sony's cloud or something like that, and we had celebrities with sex tapes coming out, etc. It didn't change. It's like, to us, we've been educated like this. This is how we operate. So data leaks are bound to happen. It's like a bank heist. they're bound to happen. It's part of the infrastructure. It's almost like today you use Ethereum, you use like Solana halts. It's the regular status. We've been raising this. You on Ethereum, you get sandwich attack. That's it's how it works. How do you think you can change the status quo?
Yeah. I mean, you raise a good point, right? Like, yeah, there are this. Okay, let's imagine two scenarios. One, there's a global outage of all the data centers, and all identity is stolen. That's like the craziest scenario, but it could happen. You know what? Like it's very close to happening with nation state attacks. But you're right. Like we've like me personally, I'm here in Australia right now, and like we have like a hack every other week here, right? And I'm talking about huge attacks, and there's a website here. It's actually a global website. You subscribe to it, and it tells you if your data is in the dark web. I think most people are in this boat right now. We know that there are attacks. Our data is being stolen for us. The issue is we don't have a what's next. We don't have like an alternate platform. We don't have, okay, there's this other platform that I could try, right? Now, that's the first thing. The second thing is the user experience, right? Like we have got so comfortable with logging into our Spotifys and our YouTubes and seeing all the content that we love that has basically been trained on our data. And we're going to find it really hard to detach from that. So it's a very challenging problem to solve, we agree, but the potential is huge because this market doesn't exist. This alternate system of data ownership doesn't exist, just like an alternate system of financial asset ownership didn't exist prior to 2008. So I think there's going to be a few things that might come together. So I don't have a definite answer to your question, but the way I look at it and the way we look at it is there will be a few incidents that come together. One is some catastrophe around data identity being stolen. Second, an improvement in user experience with platforms like Itheum, where you can build an app like a music player on Itheum, like a decentralized Spotify on Itheum, which is relatively same user experience than the real Spotify, but the difference is you get to own your data on one. And then over time, I think we'll start pushing people into this new alternate. And that's kind of what we're trying to set up. We're trying to set up this new infrastructure, this new alternate that you would have.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Let's come back to Ethereum before we continue to speak about the market and the potential of this market. About Ethereum, so let's speak about the different assets. So you have a token. Can you explain us? And there is a comment about it. I will read it. It will be easier. So we're getting close to 2 years since the Ethereum launchpad ended. Does the Ethereum token have any unique functionality after almost 2 years? So let's speak about the Ethereum ecosystem. So you have the utility token. Can you tell us about it? What's the utilities of this token?
Sure. Yeah. So we got the Itheum token that's part of our ecosystem. We got the data NFTs, right? So there's two things. We got the fungible token, which is our utility token, and then we got data NFTs, which represent data assets that are tokenized, right? These are minted by everyone. The main role of the Itheum token is to attach reputation to the ecosystem. And what do I mean by that is for Ethereum to reach its next stage, at the moment, if you want to mint data NFTs, you need to be whitelisted. And the reason we did this is because there had to be some sort of vetting that happens to understand what kind of data is being minted, because there are a lot of attack vectors here that we needed to keep an eye on. So you need to be whitelisted. Now, Ethereum token's main utility is going to be when we remove this whitelisting, where it's just an open platform. It's completely open. Anyone can come and mint. But now, how do you, for example, prove reputation of who's minting? How do you get them to put a stake in the game? And this is through what we are going to be, we're working on right now. It's through a bonding and staking platform, right? Like where if you want to mint, you have to bond. So you're basically bonding reputation and then you mint. But that on the flip side, you're going to get people who are using your data or who really like what you're doing. They can stake on you to again show reputation. So what's going to happen here is Ethereum as a token becomes a heavy signaling of reputation in the ecosystem. Now, where that's one, and second is Ethereum is going to be the utility token for what we call data coalition DAOs. So in what this is basically, if you, let's say you're a PlayStation gamer and you mint your PlayStation data as a data NFT, there might be 1,000 other gamers who did the same thing. And let's say you want to pool all this data and then sell it as a bulk data set. This is what we call a data coalition DAO. Anyone can set up one of these DAOs. Again, this is something we're working on the contracts right now. And you can attract bulk data sets. And again, to prove reputation of the DAO, you've got to stake and bond Ethereum. So Ethereum's main utility, of course, is that it's a reputation signaling system. It's it's staking bonding. It's also, you can use it in a data DEX right now if you want to procure data NFTs, but that's really not the main utility.
Okay. So concretely, for 2 years now, is it possible for a user to use the Ethereum platform? I saw a few months ago on Cointelegraph an article saying that you were launched on Canary Net. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah.
And for the people on the audience that maybe don't know Ethereum and that would like to know, okay, how can I take the property of my data? Is it live, or if it's not, when will it will be possible to do it, and how concretely?
Yeah. So about 2 months ago, we launched the Ethereum minting platform. So remember, I said Ethereum is just an NFT platform where you can mint NFT tokens but attach your data to it. So 2 months ago, we launched it in what we call Canary
Mm-hmm.
Net. And
Can you
what
describe
that
what is
means
it,
is that,
Canary Net?
yeah,
Yes. Oh, thank you.
sure. Yeah. So CanaryNet is a system. Polkadot does something similar as well, where they launch in a mainnet environment with real economic value, but they put in place some sort of what we call guardrails, right? Like there's certain things you can't do. So when we launched in CanaryNet, there's two main things you couldn't do. The first thing, not everyone can mint, so you have to be whitelisted. So there's a form you got to fill. There's a few questions. We got to make sure that you're an actual human and not a bot. So that was the first thing. So whitelisting. The second big restriction was Ethereum's data NFTs were only tradable in Ethereum's data NFT marketplace. And this is because we didn't quite know all the attack vectors. So we thought maybe people would take it and start flipping it in other marketplaces, rugging it, and all this kind of weird stuff, right? So these were the two main guardrails that formed CanaryNet. Just before, I think in December, the last week of December, we dropped the second guardrail, which means you can now trade data NFTs in any marketplace or any ecosystem. And there's only one guardrail left, which is the whitelisting. Now, once we drop that, then we take it out of CanaryNet and it's full mainnet, full open mainnet, right? Now, the whitelisting part is very simple, actually. It's just a quick form. If you go to ethereum.io/get whitelisted, you see the form. And if you're a musician or you're creating some valuable data, you're data analyst, on-chain investigator, if you make memes, right, like you're creating content there, come and get whitelisted, right? Like, because we'd love to get more data NFT creators on board. But yeah, you fill the form, we whitelist you, and you just come and mint. So the whole platform is actually on mainnet. The only thing left now to take it out of this CanaryNet phase is to remove whitelisting, which is what we're working on right now, with I mentioned with the utility of the Ethereum token, where you can bond and then whitelist yourself and then mint, which is hopefully going to be launched very soon.
You have a date or maybe a quarter or
Man,
something?
yeah, I mean I don't want to do another 23-day countdown, but let's it's on by the way, our roadmap is public for everyone, so you can go to ethereum.io/roadmap, and it is due for this quarter.
Okay, great. Before we continue to speak about the vision and the potential and the obstacles of this market, I would like you to explain the different use cases of your thing. We have the Andre thing. You know, he made a data NFT around.
Yeah.
You will explain a bit what he did. We have the X Foudre thing. Also, he made some bubble map with some data NFT. So you will be able to explain a bit exactly what is it. And maybe there were other initiatives, maybe I don't know. And yeah, can you tell us for content creators, for entrepreneur, for normal member of the community, or any other use cases, can be political or anything. Can you give us some examples of use cases of this?
Yeah, yeah. So we'll talk about the existing data NFTs, and then we'll talk about more use cases. So we have Fordres, good friend of ours. He's an on-chain investigator, right? So he looks at on blockchain data and he creates these amazing visualizations. So this is some effort, right? We call them active data creators because they put a lot of effort and they create some original data. So he's minted his collection as a data NFT that's available on our platform. Uh, and then we've got Manu, who's a musician. He's again what we call an active data creator. He's producing music. He's putting in the effort. He's producing original content. You can listen to Manu's evolving music by owning his data NFT. I say evolving because he keeps changing the tracks. So like regularly he pushes new tracks, and then you can get access to these tracks if you hold the data NFT and listen to them. You can, for example, you can open up X Portal Hub, and with one click you can listen to his music. So it's really cool. We got Andre. Andre is, most of you would know, he creates some really good sort of insights and infographics and around DeFi ecosystem. So he submitted his changing document of tips and tricks in DeFi as a data NFT. But these are some of the use cases. Now you'll notice that these are what we call active data creators, right? Because they are producing some original content. So maybe people in the audience, right, like you guys are producing some original content. Maybe if you are a coder, you have produced like a cool algorithm, or maybe if you're an AI
GMMVX.
person.
It's a podcast is a content, no?
There we go, man. Like you're producing a
Yes.
podcast,
Okay.
right? Like maybe
Let's
you
take
can.
this
Here's an
example. What
example,
can I
man.
do
Yeah.
with GMMVX
Mm.
if I want to work with your platform?
Well, this is great. So let's say, I mean, you produce all of these podcasts and you're giving this away for free, right? Like you're inviting people. Participation is great because you're getting a community, but maybe you want to have a premium sort of content where you produce
Like nudes
you
or no? Sorry.
like I'm just trying to think. Maybe you have some premium content, man, like where you, if you were to, for example, listen to your free content, they can subscribe to
Mm-hmm.
your premium content, right? Like you can do that with data NFTs where it becomes a gated access to your premium content. Now, a good example also might be, man, like if, like, say you're making, um, just trying to think, let's say you are uh, uh, a, a, I'm going to go back to music, but that's not good. But let's say you're producing video tutorials, right? Like on some topic that you're really good at. You can produce a bunch of free content, give it away on Twitter, and on your last thread, you could say, "Hey, you want to support me? Here's a premium thing, and you own this data NFT, and I will keep updating it." And then you can like convert them into your like premium audience. Now you're probably asking like, well, I could probably do this in Web 2. Why do I need to do this in Web 3? Well, with Web 3, you get the retradability of it because maybe you get one person who gets this premium content, they don't want it anymore, and they just sell it to somebody else who'd want it. So you have this continuous tradability of your fans, right? Your premium fans that are like moving between each other. But yeah, if media is great, like if you can produce any media, always think about, this is my free tier media and this is my premium media. And you can take a premium media and mint it as a data NFT.
Okay. Um. Yeah. Go, Arno. After
Yeah.
we'll speak about the go-to-market strategy. Arnaud, and after Joachim that decided to join us this morning, he made the foudre thing. Welcome, Joachim.
Good
Um,
morning. Yeah, bit late alarm this morning.
Mark, I have a question about your ability to build ambitiously. When we see those big Web3 funds invest, and the biggest funds in the world, they invest masses of money in companies that have the ability to address a huge market, disrupt and create something from scratch. This is exactly what Itheum is. It is a new type of infrastructure. Potentially you can address a market that is just 8 billion of people. Why maybe have you tried raising that sort of money? If so, what was your experience? Because I mean, you are that type of company.
Yeah. So we did raise when we did the launch pad, so that was the first round, and we've been building using that round. But you're right, this is a huge market, right? Because your potential user base is 8 billion people who could tap into this. The challenge we have, and we're working towards, is if we enable everybody in the world to take ownership of their data as a data NFT, we will have 8 billion data NFTs. Just imagine that's hypothetically, right? Like you could have multiple per person, but 8 billion. There needs to be somebody on the other end who's going to consume this data NFTs, right? Now, if you think about it, the entire data consumption market is monopolized by a few big corporations. So we are again butting heads with like some really big corporations who have monopolized the data sourcing. So we're attempting data sourcing. We need to find the other end of the spectrum. So we have to be pragmatic about this. We can't go and talk to the Googles and the Yahoos and I don't know, is Yahoo even a thing? But
Not anymore.
Googles and tell them and tell them about this. So we want to demonstrate traction with user base, right? Like we want users to first come on board, like not just one or two or three. We want thousands and thousands who are hooked into Itheum and just like supplying data. This is kind of one thing that we're also very focused on right now, is moving it from at the moment I was talking about active data creation, where people have to do some effort to produce like a song, moving it to passive data creation, where you don't have to do anything extra. You just and a good example is gaming. Let's say you're a gamer and you're playing 5 hours of gaming every day on your PlayStation. You just mint your data NFT once, connect your PlayStation account to it, and then you passively collect data and feed it into the system, right? Now, this is the key. If we can achieve this and everyone's passively collecting data, and then we bring in our data coalition DAOs, which like pool this sort of similar data sets, like thousands of PlayStation games pool their data into a data coalition DAO. Now it makes it really interesting because you can't ignore it. When you have 1,000 active gamers supplying data per second, it's very attractive to big organizations, right? They can look at it and like, wow, I can get data sourced directly from a gamer. I can target ads directly at them. But the difference here is they cannot just exploit your data. They need to get your permission and they need to fairly compensate you to use it. So to answer your question again, right? We have to prove traction of this new model. And that traction comes when we have thousands of users hooked in, supplying data, and then incentivizing apps to be built on top of Itheum, which might be like a game analytics platform. Then you can just forget about the whole Web3 thing, and then we can go after the big Web2 sort of raises and so on. But we still feel like we had to first solve the mass adoption part, which we're working towards. But yeah, we're continuing to explore like how does this bridge the narrative from forget about Web3. It should be a Web2 platform. When you're looking at it from the front, it's just an analytics platform, but the data sourced directly from a gamer in that example, and yeah, then it's very much more attractive to big VCs.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, so going back, so first of all, hi Mark. It's really exciting to have you here. I'm I've been following, as you know, your solution for quite a while. But one of the questions I've often asked myself is, how do you get exclusivity on the data? How do you convince a company that they shouldn't like sell or distribute data to any third parties other than you, and therefore giving full power to the end user?
Yeah. Thanks for the question, man. Yeah, like I really enjoy our chats on Telegram as well. So to answer your question, exclusivity, right? Like, let's go to the gaming example. So let's say you're a PlayStation gamer. You've connected your gaming data to a data NFT. You have then given the data NFT to a data coalition DAO, which is now looking at selling the data on your behalf, because let's be honest, we don't have time to sell our data. We want to just collect our data and then give it to like a data coalition DAO, which would then sell it on and then take care of my interest. Now, the DAO plays a very important part here, the data coalition DAO. It's actively looking at who's consuming it, how are they consuming it, are they consuming it within the agreed upon terms, and they can like stop the consumption, right? Because someone's got to actively look after your interests. And we don't have time for that. Like, we have got our own things to do in our life. We don't have to be looking at who's using our data and then stopping people from doing it. So you delegate to this data coalition DAO, which actively looks and curates who's using your data and how. That's the first part, right? So if they see somebody misusing it, they can sever the access to that person by removing the rights of the data NFT. The second part is, of course, you can exit at any time. So let's say you don't like the data coalition DAO, the way they are looking after your best interest. You take your data NFT from that DAO and you give it to another data coalition DAO. And because this is not static data, it's dynamic data. If somebody had access to your data to that point in time, yeah, sure, you can't do anything about this. But once you move it to the next data coalition DAO, they don't get future updates to the data. So it kind of severs. I believe it's similar to GDPR, right? Like you can't stop people accessing your data from the past, but you can stop them from doing it in the future, because what happened in the past already happened. So yeah, I hope that kind of makes sense.
Absolutely. And would you say then that those DAO coalitions would they also have, as you were talking about data analysts, etc., would there be an interest in them having some data analysts that, let's say, tailor the data, or even like come with graphs, etc., based on the user's information, rather than giving just pure data?
Absolutely, man. Think of the data coalition DAO as just a normal company. Like, it could be a Web2 company that has got data analysts, they've got privacy experts, they've got all of these people, even salespeople who can go and sell the data set. And they just have the data coalition DAO as infrastructure that's like attracting data to it, right? Yes, absolutely. The first data coalition DAO might be the Gamer Passport DAO, where it's got all these thousands of PlayStation gamers data attached to it, but then they write their own analytics on top of it and then provide that as a value add. They could be just providing it as a regular SaaS platform, a software as a service platform, where if you pay a subscription, you get access to 1,000 gamers' data. So yes, think of the data coalition DAO as just a normal company that wants to implement a DAO-based mechanism for crowdsourcing data.
Great. And as you were saying, with the, like I said, like if you lose access to the data, if it's some form of gate kept by NFTs or other, you lose access to that URL, that renewed URL that contains the data. And this is a new standard on MvX that you've created, which we can find on certain EVMs. I'm thinking of Ethereum and Polygon, where we have I don't remember what it's called, but it's that some of the information is hashed and encrypted in a way that only the owner can see it. Do you think are you planning on making this available like as a protocol standard, or do you prefer as of now keeping it as an Itheum product?
That's a great question. So yeah, so the abstraction layer that you're talking about, yes, we at the moment have it built into Itheum. So if you're using it, the data NFTs that are talking to this abstraction layer, but you're right. It doesn't have to be an Ethereum product or a MultiversX blockchain product. It could be a universal product. It could be just a service that even a Web2 company could use to get token gated encryption, as an example, right? So right now we want to improve it a little bit. Like we want to increase sort of the decentralization of that abstraction layer before we kind of like open out maybe an API or open up a service to it directly so people can use it. In fact, we have an SDK already where you could like talk to that abstraction layer directly. It's just that we are not, we've got a few more things we need to do before we feel like it's ready to like open it out as a separate product maybe. But yeah.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Awesome,
Let's
thanks.
speak about the future in your go-to-market strategy. So, how do you plan to onboard people and to incentivize people to use your platform and to communicate about the importance of protecting and being able to control their data? Do you have competition on this market? And how do you work with it? So tell us about the next step of the project in the marketing and business terms.
Yeah, we spoke about this a few times, right? This is a very complex problem to solve. A lot of hurdles, a lot of potential blockers in the Web2 world who don't want data ownership to go mainstream. So the way we always approached it was we knew it was always challenging, but we wanted to make it fun, right? That's kind of the whole angle. If you look at Itheum right now, you are listening to music. It's fun, but you actually respecting the artist's music. Like the musician owns his data as a data NFT. So it made the whole experience of data ownership fun. So we want to now. This is what our main focus is right now. It's like a fun platform. It's an NFT platform. You can come and do all NFT stuff with it. But secretly, we're educating you about data ownership, right? So if you look at all the stuff we do with our community,
Yeah, I
we are
saw, for
constantly
example,
educating
sorry to
people.
interrupt, but it will be interesting.
Yeah, no,
I
go on.
saw that you're very active on Instagram, and it's not that frequent on Web3 and especially in MultiversX. But I saw you have an Instagram account and you post regularly on it, correct?
Yeah. Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter are our main channels. Like if you look at, we've got an Ethereum community handle. If you guys go and check that out, we have we have this whole campaign called Trailblazer, which you can hold a Trailblazer data NFT and take part in like learning about Ethereum and then get rewarded for your contribution. So to answer your question, your previous question, we want to make data ownership fun with fun experience like music and so on. Second is we want to educate the community about the importance of data ownership, which is what we're doing. But the third and most important one is we have to move Ethereum from this current sort of active data collection mode where you need to be whitelisted, you need to like do some effort to produce a song as an example, to a passive mode where all you have to do is come in there, mint your data NFT. If you're a gamer, mint your gaming data NFT and passively collect data. So that way we can now grow the volume of data as well. So educating is one, making it fun is two, and three is increasing the volume of data that's going through the Ethereum infrastructure. That's kind of our main focus at the moment. And this is pretty much our go-to-market, right? Like to be able to show that there's this huge volume of data that's sourced directly from high-value users like yourselves that Web2 companies can just tap into if they want to. They can come and get access to it. AI companies can get access to it. But if they do, you get a share of the deal. And I think that's everybody wins in that scenario.
Okay. You know what, Mark Paul, we forgot about the gift you had for the community, but we still have a few minutes for it, and it will be interesting because it will give you the opportunity to explain what is this NFT that you are offering to the community. So it's Etheum Trailblazer Data NFT, and you're offering one to one of the listeners. And to enter, it's pretty simple, guys. Just need to retweet the link of the Twitter space. Just retweet, and I will have a Twitter picker in a few minutes to pick the winner. But first of all, can you explain what is this NFT and what's the use of it?
Yeah, so Itheum Trailblazer is the first data NFT that was minted on the Itheum platform, and it is what we call a community activation tool, right? So it's a data NFT that you have it in your wallet, just like a regular NFT. You can do whatever you want to do with it, but it's an NFT. You can, if you hold this NFT, you can take part in monthly quests and quizzes that we do. And what's really cool is that the quests and the quizzes are directly sent into the NFT. So it's not just like a gated thing where you can go and see something. You'll have to go to a specific platform, and the data from within the NFT is open, and you can see a live quest happen. So you really don't know what's going to appear there. So it's very very gamified. But it's basically how we activate our community, and what we want Ethereum Trailblazers to be. We want them to be our hardcore community members. They are involved in a lot of things we do, a lot of the product stuff we're going to do. They'll be involved with. So yeah, we want to give out one data NFT Trailblazer. Feel free to, as you said, distribute it to the way you want.
Thank you very much for it. So if I summarize, it's like a Zilly that you have some quests, and all the success, all the points you earn are in the NFT, or I misunderstood.
Yeah, it's kind of like Zeely. You can think of it as Zeely. The quests and the competitions and the events that are part of the monthly sort of overarching quest appear inside the NFT. So, and then you can see the leaderboard within the NFT. You can do all of that. So you need to hold the NFT to see all the yeah.
Joachim, maybe it can be useful for you. What do you think?
What are you saying that?
I can't answer this question, but I think it can be interesting for you, no?
Yeah, I mean, I've been following the solutions Mark and his team have been developing, and I've tried the Trailblazer and everything, and I'm honestly quite impressed by what they've done and the way they're interacting with their users to gamify data collection.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, thank you very much, Mark. Thank you, Arno and Joachim, for hosting this interview with you. Mark, I let you the final word. And thank you again for coming this morning. It was very interesting, and I hope the audience now understands better what is Itheum, what you do, and what you want to do in the future. I let you the final word.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, man. This was real fun. I love the questions, really good questions. Yeah, so keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job educating the community and keeping this sort of interaction going. So thank you, everyone, for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much again. Let's do the giveaway. I will pick the winner. So no condition, just to retweet the link of the space. Let's go. And the winner is no, we don't have enough participants. We only have 11 retweets. So let's try again. And if it doesn't work with Twitter Picker, it's okay. I will use ChatGPT later to pick one of the people that retweeted. Oh yeah, I have a winner. It's okay. It's yonut.egld. I will post it, and I will Mark. I will send you the ERD address of the winner so you can send the NFT when you have a moment. Okay?
Sounds good. Congratulations.
Have a very good day, and you're always welcome on GMMVX if you want to say hi or just to give us some news about Itheum. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Thank you, my friend.
So let's go to the next topic, and I would like to introduce my very new and very good friend, Olivier from Solana. Hello, Olivier. How are you?
Hey, Jerome, how are you?
I am very good.
Long time no see, Olivier.
Yeah, long time no see. I wish I was back for other reasons, but shit happens.
You wanted some knives last week.
Yeah, there's some yeah.
So to introduce Olivier is French, and so that's why we met for the French GMMVX, on which he will come sometimes to speak about Solana news. And yesterday, I think, yeah, it was yesterday or the day before, I
Yeah.
don't remember. I sent you a message, Olivier, asking for you to come in the English GMMVX to explain, as far as you know, of course, what happened yesterday on Solana with the breakdown. And you said yes, and thank you for this. Just to sum up, Olivier, you are engineer at Solana Labs and Solana Mobile.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right.
So maybe before we speak about exactly what happened yesterday, as I said, we don't have the full vision of what happened, but you will tell us what you already know. Can you explain us why sometimes Solana is breaking down? I know there is a technical reason. So can you explain us why? And I will let, of course, Arno and Joachim maybe challenge you with this point.
Yeah.
And after, we'll speak about what happened yesterday. Is it okay for you?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thanks.
So I guess
Thanks.
that's more, the first point is more of a general question of why Solana failed in the past. I guess it's because we, as a blockchain, were kind of the first to go after that design principle of going like full performance, the closest possible as what the machine can do on pretty good specifications, pretty good hardware. And the origin validator was kind of and still experimental. So that's why we call it mainnet beta as well. It's because we still think of it as something experimental. It's been worked on by one team only. And so as such, it's even if it's open source, it's not as robust or as reliable as Ethereum, for instance, which has multiple validator clients and stuff like that. So the fact that it's being innovated on all the time, most of the time, was the cause for these issues. That said, other networks have been innovating at the same time, so that's not the only reason. But Solana, yeah, it's kind of a plague that follows Solana. If we compare with other high performance monolithic networks like Aptos or Sui, they also experienced some halts last year. So I would say that as soon as you reach some kind of like scale, system computing, especially decentralized distributed system computing, is really hard. There are a lot of variables that you don't think about. And so in the past, Solana broke for various reasons. It was either the network, or then it was the consensus, or the runtime. There are various points of failures that can happen when you reach a certain scale. And I think it's fair to say that only a few blockchain in non-benchmark environments have reached that scale. And so it's a different world where you have like a control network like DevNet and testnet. And when you reach a certain scale in production where you have like, nodes in US, Europe, Asia, whatever, all talking together, that's a different beast altogether. But yeah, I'll talk also about the incident of yesterday and what's the mitigations we are thinking about in the future that were already in the plan. But yeah.
Okay.
Olivier, I'm no tech, so it's going to be very hard for me to challenge tech-wise.
Okay.
What I know is that, for example, Sui has less users than a monolithic blockchain like MultiversX, for example. And
Mhm.
MultiversX has never halted since
Please, guys, can you
day
explain
one.
can you explain what is monolithic instead of the blockchain with different layers and different
So yeah,
can you explain,
monolithic.
please?
Maybe Olivier, you can explain it. You're the tech. You will
Yeah,
do the better job than
no
me.
worries. So I think monolithic versus modular is what we call the two big differences in blockchain right now. So monolithic, you have only one network. So all the transactions are pushed to one ledger, one book, if you may. And that's it. So all the protocols, all the dApps, all the programs, smart contract, they all commit to the same chain. When we talk about modular chains, and I think sharding may apply or may not. I don't know. It's actually a good question, but modular blockchains are usually seen as having multiple networks, so multiple chains, multiple ledgers working in combination together. And so a good example of that is Ethereum with its L2s, where each L2 is actually committing a hash per block. So they have, like, let's say 100 transaction, and they're just going to commit the hash to Ethereum. And so of that block. And so it's a shared resource. Ethereum is seen as a shared resource here between L2s. And that's seen as a modular architecture of blockchain. So it has both approaches have various pros and cons, I would say. Notably in the finality of blocks, which is usually lower. So it's faster on monolithic to reach finality than it is on modular networks, because it takes time for actually a block to form first on the L2 and then be committed to the other network, the L1. And sharding might be a bit similar in that sense, that each shard at some point has to commit to a global state. So, things might happen in the shard, and then at some point, all the states are going to be globalized and merged together. So we could see it as a modular architecture, even if I would say it's a hybrid. Personally, I see it as a hybrid system, but yeah, that's basically what's the difference there.
Thank you for the precision. And so, Arno, what was your question? Sorry if I interrupted you, but now it's clear for everyone.
No, I have no question. I'm just wondering, is this a matter of users, number of users and load on the infrastructure? This is really what's causing all the outages, in your opinion, in Solana, in Sui, and Aptos?
So some have been in Solana. I don't think Sui and Aptos. So Sui and Aptos, they haven't released. It's not a big critic, but they haven't released a good postmortem. So actually, I haven't looked at the reasons for their halt in 2023. I don't think it was scale. So because to your point, I don't think there were like a ton of users on these chains. So for Solana, it was half and half. So in the early days of the network, yes, some scale issues happened, notably on the network side where it was DDoSed at some point. So many requests came to the nodes and they couldn't process fast enough. And so you have mitigations for that, of course, but that's things we haven't anticipated in the past. I think Ethereum was also DDoS, I think it was in 2016, 17, I forgot, but it was DDoS as well. So yes, with scale, you reach some problems that you are not expecting. And there are so many components in a blockchain. It's not just, adding blocks one after the other. It's like a whole sets of engineering challenges, actually. And so one piece might fail that you didn't expect. And so network usually is considered reliable, but you can see that with scale, it's actually you need to implement better network protocols and even sometimes tweak some very famous protocols to better map the usage of blockchains and stuff like that. I hope it answers your question.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olivier. We have Adam. Hello, Adam. Welcome. How are you?
Hello. I originally requested the mic when you were talking about the
I
entire Benny
know,
countdown stuff.
but it was at the end of the sequence.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna
We'll
talk
speak after. We'll speak
page.
after. No. Stay with us. We will speak again after the Solana part with Olivier because Olivier need to leave at 12
Yep.
CET. So, do you have a question about Solana?
Is it back up and running? Sorry. No. I'm gonna also leave because I need to join a meeting. But hi everyone. Let's fucking go. All the best to everyone.
Thank you, Adam, for good vibes. Enjoy your day.
Cheers.
So we have Joachim.
Yeah, so as you said, like issues may arise as a blockchain scales, and you could say that a blockchain that hasn't been stress tested in real cases, not like lab scenarios, can't really know how scalable it is until it actually reaches natural scale. But the last outage was now a while ago, as we saw there was a newspaper who said that it's been a full year since there hasn't been an outage on Solana for that.
Almost.
Yeah. So close.
Yep.
But so would you say that with each halt, obviously there's new, I don't want to say bugs, but new issues that are discovered and that probably get fixed. So would if you had to say in how long of a time frame would you think for Solana to be able to scale until like what you think is enough without having any issues? Like if you had to make an internal roadmap in a way and like we want to make sure from this year and on there's never going to be a single outage on Solana.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And actually, answer is yes and no. Because the issue is that the roadmap contains some plans to mitigate these issues and improve reliability, but also contains innovations that are outside of reliability and are focused on performance or runtime improvements, new features. I talked last week about token extensions and that 1.17 needed some new features to create ZK proofs and stuff like that. So that's just an example of new features that happen at the runtime level and that are outside of the.
Oh, Olivier, we can't hear you. Is it just me?
No,
Or
we lost
can't
him.
hear.
Okay. So, Olivier, I will write you in private to disconnect and reconnect.
I wanted to make a bad joke, but I will retain.
That's why he left. He heard you breathe in to talk, and he's just like, nope, I'm not answering Arno.
No, I think the joke was he has a breakdown like Solana. Is that this, Erno?
Yeah.
I think you can. You know, Olivier is very funny, so he will not take it as an offense. Uh, okay, I hope he will come back soon.
No,
And in
soon
the
is
mid,
our thing, Gian. Okay, you
yeah,
can't take
true.
everything from us. Okay,
I am so
outages is
cross.
Solana, and soon is MultiversX.
I'm so cross-chain. Um, Olivier, yeah, you had a breakdown.
As well.
It's okay.
I heard the joke, by the way. It was good. I just couldn't speak anymore. It's My my AirPods just went off. I think I need to charge them. But anyway, so we were saying about reliability. Where did it stop, the audio?
Can you ask again the question? Maybe I don't know who asked you the question. It was me? No, it was not
That was
me.
Joachim. Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
Joachim.
Joachim, can you ask again the question? It will help Olivier to answer again.
Yeah, sorry. It was like, as you were saying, well, part of the answer was that you're implementing new features that obviously bring a few unknowns. But if there is kind of like an internal agreement on when the blockchain should be like 100% stable, and never
Yeah.
halt. Obviously like no one wants it to halt, but yeah.
Yeah. So definitely, that's what I was saying. Like, the roadmap is full of innovation, and some might concern reliability, performance, but some might just be new features. So just specifically about the long-term vision and when we think it will be much more stable, we have the same roadmap as Ethereum, actually, which is not surprising because Ethereum is a model in terms of resilience. I think the two first issues they had were, like I mentioned, in 2016 and then 2017. So 2016 was a DDoS, 2017 was a hard fork because of an exploit on the DAO. But in both cases, the chain was halted. Never happened since then because they quickly went on to having multiple validator clients. So the validator client is the main software that runs the blockchain. It's what you run on nodes, right? And having multiple implementation, especially done by multiple teams in the ecosystem, it's even better if they're all open source and stuff. Make the network much more resilient because you essentially have multiple implementation of the same protocol, the same specifications. And so if one fail, and hopefully these clients will have like shared stake within the network. So you can imagine having 3 or 4 clients. So 3 clients, the ideal situation is having 33% on each validator. 4 clients having about 25%. So if one implementation fail, then you still have the 2 or 3 others to still run the network. No fork is going to happen because they still have the majority of the stake, so 66% or more, and things will run normally. And so the client that fails actually has the time to fix the issue and then update and restart. So that's what actually happened this week, just this week. One client on Ethereum, Nethermind, I think it's called, failed. It stopped completely, and it had I think 10% of the stake. So if Ethereum didn't have like 3 or 4 other clients, it could have happened the same shit, So that's definitely part of the roadmap. So yesterday, I think Guru actually marked me on a thread with someone from Coin Academy that was saying. So there was a little misconception there, but that was saying that Fire Dancer, the new client that is being worked on by the Jump team, because it will improve performance, then it will improve reliability. These two things are not always connected, and as we've seen yesterday, maybe after that I can go into the specifics of the issue, but we've seen yesterday that it wasn't a performance issue, it was a bug. And so the performance that brings Fire Dancer is not the reason why we are saying that Fire Dancer will improve reliability. It's just because Fire Dancer was remade from scratch. It's written in C++ instead of Rust for the native client that Solana Labs has been working on. And so it's a rewrite from the scratch, and it will re-implement the Solana protocol, the Solana specifications. So hopefully in the future, we can have like 2 or 3 clients that share stakes. And if one fails, and it's possible, even the Fire Dancer might fail because there's an issue they're going to innovate as well in parallel. And so, things might happen, but that's the roadmap, basically, the long-term roadmap.
Thank you for this complete answer. Let's dive in what happened yesterday, and after I will let. I saw your hands, guys, but we need to focus on what happened yesterday.
Super quick then.
Which
Super quick.
information do we have now?
Yeah, well, so we don't have all the full analysis. So what I'm going to say is only public. And I think the core team is supposed to publish their analysis today, tomorrow. It takes usually a few days, but we'll see. So 10 a.m. yesterday, the outage started. Complete out of block production. One thing to mention, Solana prioritizes security versus liveness. So we don't skip blocks. If there is a block that is not final and there is a fork, the chain stops. So that's a different also design than other chains. Something to know. But so 10 a.m. outage, 11 a.m. a fix was published on the GitHub, the official Solana GitHub, and 3 p.m. the network was restarted because it took 4 hours for the nodes, the validators, to restart. There's quite a bit of nodes actually. So we often, one of the third is that Solana is not decentralized, blah, blah, blah. But actually about 3,000 nodes it takes a while to synchronize all of the people that run these nodes to update their client and then to restart. And so it took 4 hours to come back to 80% of the stake available. So the origin of the bug was from what we call BPF. So BPF is the runtime of Solana. BPF stands for Berkeley Package Filter. It's just see it as an execution environment. So it takes on-chain programs. And when I say program, again, program and smart contract are the same thing on Solana. We call programs smart contracts. Or smart contracts programs on Solana. So what it takes is these on-chain programs are loaded with BPF and then executed with BPF as well. It's open source BPF. It was re-implemented for Solana, but it changes all the time. So like I mentioned, ZK proofs is something that is run by BPF, etc., etc. So actually we have to go back to 1 week ago, because 1 week ago, I don't know if you heard, but DevNet, which is the very thin layer that there's only a few machines that work on DevNet. You can test your programs against it, etc. But it's very isolated. But it had the same issue 1 week ago. So someone found an instruction that made the BPF fail pretty bad. And so the core team fixed it in DevNet. So 1 week ago, it took 1 day to find the fix. Then it was tested in DevNet, testnet for 5 or 6 days. And unfortunately, it was waiting for 2 days to be released in prod. The problem is yesterday morning, night, the same instruction that was run in DevNet was run against prod without anyone noticing or warning Solana about it. So it's unfortunate because there are most blockchains have bounty programs for this kind of stuff. So if someone find an issue with an instruction on DevNet, testnet, or whatever, like we actually pay people to find these bugs. I know Ethereum has like 250K bug bounties on any issue that is found with Solidity or whatever. I don't know how much we pay, but that's also something we do. Just because it goes with like the kind of, engineers are trying to also push the Web3 narrative forward and not fight against each other. But in this case, someone found the bug, run it against DevNet, run it against prod, and it failed. So that's why also yesterday the fix was kind of quick to go to prod, is because it was already available. But yeah, it's still 5 hours of outage. My sentiment, to be transparent, I know on CD some people are like, hey, we're still processing more transactions than all the other networks, even if we allotted 5 hours, whatever. That's not accounting for all the leverage lost, the movement of funds that were maybe needed, all that. So my sentiment is shared internally with Solana is that it's bad. It's let's be transparent, it's not great. And reliability had became a focus in 2023. So it's not cool for sure. But we have like we said before, we had a roadmap to improve that. It's just it's going to take time to have multiple clients. Hopefully by, let's see, maybe end of the year, the Fire Dancer client will be ready, but we don't know yet. And also a second client is probably not enough. We probably need to reach like 3 or 4 clients to be a bit more comfortable with reliability and all that. But that's what happened yesterday. And to your question, Joachim, might it happen again? Yes, probably, because the thing, to be realistic, like we have only one client running in prod today. And as soon as someone found a bug and doesn't communicate about it, and things like that can happen, it might happen again for sure. Hopefully, as we go, more and more bugs are fixed, and so less and less critical failures can happen, but it's still a risk that is present for sure.
I will go on. So first of all, I think that the way you take ownership, you and the Solana team on this, is great. There's I'm sure you know this saying in tech that if you don't break things, you don't go fast enough.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that it happens just now. It also reminds us that we are also very young in the building of blockchain infrastructure, and that you guys at Solana are most likely innovating on various ways to push the infrastructure so that in the future we can have a global adoption. My quick question for you is, how far are we from this point where the blockchain infrastructure is ready to onboard a massive scale of companies, users? If you had to ballpark a number of months, years.
That's a good question, and I think that's true for many blockchains. And because I think, like Joachim mentioned, like they haven't really been stress tested for real. So, and for various reasons. So if we take modular blockchains like Ethereum, L2s haven't been stress tested enough, and I think they are not decentralized enough. If we take monolithic blockchains like Solana, Aptos, Sui, they haven't been stress tested enough as well, and they've known some issues like yesterday. So I would say definitely still a few years away from being really stable and really, I think, so it's interesting because they're all going to the same point with various ways to improve performance, reliability, block space, all that. And they take different routes, but the end goal is the same. So I think for these various reasons, we're still like at least 1-2 years away from reaching a point where we can call these like ready for mass adoption. But it's not that far, to be honest. Like Fire Dancer, for instance, for Solana is available in testnet, so it's already been tested. So prod should follow hopefully by the end of the year. I know Ethereum and L2s have been more and more decentralized. Polygon has actually published some very good ZK libraries to allow interoperability between L2s, so you can transfer kind of a wormhole, but between L2s and stuff like that. So these things are gonna be ready for both for developers, but also both for users. And they're going to come soon. And I think that's going to be also, hopefully, the next bull run is going to be also from these capabilities that are enabled by these improvements. So we'll have the next, and again, like networks, I think you said it right. Networks are infrastructure for dApps to be built on. And I hope that these improvements, all blockchains included, will bring the next dApp that is like mass adopted, being Farcaster or being like payments processing as well. I know there's Getcode that is pretty famous. I know some apps also have been running pretty well in Africa for micropayments and stuff like that are based on one or multiple blockchains. So these kind of usages, I think are going to be essential to democratize blockchains. But yeah, probably 1-2 years until we can say, okay, we have, the infrastructure ready to accommodate these dApps mass adoption. That's my guess.
Okay. Olivier, do you have a minute for a last question from
Sure.
Joachim?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, go, Joachim.
Yeah, I changed my question on the way after Arno's and what you've been discussing, because if we compare to MultiversX is now promoting and getting ready to launch their sovereign shards, while Solana, as far as I'm aware of, is focusing on one single blockchain. Is there any plans on like developing, because that also comes with adoption and trust testing, and as you said, multiple clients. Is there any plans on creating, let's say, like independent blockchains for, let's say, private companies to use externally from Solana, or is Solana fully focusing on one singular blockchain where everything is running on it?
Yeah, so right now the focus has been, and it's as far as I know, it's still the case. We're still focusing on that monolithic, as close as possible as, I mean, it's a marketing speech, but it's they like to say as close as the light speed, in terms of processing transactions and stuff. That's
Light speed. We know that word.
yeah,
Light
right.
speed. It's
Light
our
speed.
name.
That sounds cool. So that was the thesis at the launch of Solana, and that still remains the same. That doesn't mean that we cannot accommodate companies that want privacy, for instance. So the example of token extensions with confidentiality is an example of how you can use a monolithic chain but still have some confidentiality without running your subnet or whatever, like a chain that syncs with the public chain. So there are, again, like pros and cons with each approach, I think. And I talked with Jerome about that the first one-on-one we got. I think personally that as an engineer, I see blockchains having different usages in the future. So like I said, like modular and monolithic finality or global state might be different. And so you can see MultiversX, and I think the push of MultiversX towards the multiverse gaming and stuff like that is good, because in gaming when you have 3 million people playing Call of Duty or whatever, it's not one server containing 3 million people. It's 3,000 servers containing 1,000 people or even less. And so if you have a sharding that is performant, each shard can be linked to a server, a gaming server. And so in that case, you don't care about accounts being locked. You don't care about the global state, because the global state at the end of the game can be consolidated into one. And so that's fine. And the user will benefit from having like faster shards, because you don't need, for 1,000 users on the server, you don't need 3,000 nodes. That's overkill. That's over decentralized. And so sharding is a very good usage of that. At the opposite state, like monolithic has usually like a very good finality time. And so for payments are, global. So if I have my Visa card in my hand, I can pay in product in France, but I can pay in the US as well with the same card. And so because you don't want double spend, which is one of the big things that blockchain solves. I think monolithic networks will have a good chance of capturing payments, worldwide payments and stuff like that, because the finality and the state is global. So you see like there are different. I think in the future we'll all reach the same point, which is like have scalable, reliable infrastructure, but the usages we'll make of it are going to be different, and hopefully we won't see the same competition and the same FUD between chains as well. That's my hope as an engineer, at least.
Joachim, is it okay for you?
Yes, no. I really like the explanation and vision shared, and it's great to see that several blockchains, because as Olivier is saying, like the importance is the benefits of decentralization. No matter which blockchain it is on, we pick a favorite, and we pick like what we think is going to be the winning horse. But in the end, for humanity, to talk broadly, just the success of blockchain to be stable and sufficiently distributed and quick is the end goal. So seeing that different blockchains are going for different strategies is reassuring in a way, because if we're all going in the same tunnel and we end up that the tunnel is actually closed in the end, it would take even more years before we reach something that is really ready for mass adoption.
Okay, we have a comment from ex Foudre, who's saying in reality, blockchain and consensus is already overkill to avoid double spending. Do you want to answer, Olivier, before we close this part?
So yes and no. I think Bitcoin, the original design was it was designed to go after double spending and stuff like that. I think with proof of stake, it evolved into something, and smart contracts, especially with Ethereum, it evolved into something like blockchains became programmable. And so you don't only run payments or stuff like that. You run programs. Of course, there's movements of tokens, assets, NFTs, whatever, but some are worth zero. So double spending is still an issue that blockchains are solving. But then again, I agree that too much decentralization is also not the point. It's like you want to be just right decentralized for your applications. Because it's not worth, and it's not, even if we think about ecology and whatever, right? It's not right to have like 3,000 nodes running for 1,000 users, for instance. That's not correct. That doesn't sound good. Even if the network is super optimized, all that. So, there's always a good balance between enough decentralization and enough performance reliability of that.
Okay, thank you very much, Olivier, for coming this morning.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, same. I need to go, but yeah, I think we'll see each other mid-February or something like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank
Enjoy
Thanks,
you.
your
Olivier.
day.
See ya.
Good luck for everything. Bye. Okay, so let's now speak about the builders' anger, despair, grumbling, fatigue, anyway. And the discussion will be about this. And we'll try to figure out if it's real, and after if it's justified, because these are two different questions. And I will start by saying that I've been involving in MultiversX's ecosystem for 2 years now. I think I know pretty much every builder here, French ones, but not only. And I speak with them every single day. They come to my DM and to my private messages to tell me what they feel, to tell me what they think. And of course, for 2 years, I never said what they tell me. It's like an agreement. They can ask me anything, they can confess everything, and I will never tell publicly what they say, especially by saying their name. And I will not this morning, of course. I had never received that many messages that these last days, and especially after the countdown. I received dozens of messages of builders. Some of them are big in the ecosystem. And of course, they cannot speak publicly for two main reasons. First of all, because they are afraid. Because if you publicly on Twitter, for example, say that you critique or you reproach the foundation for their marketing or business strategy or anything we spoke before, you risk, of course, not to be able to get anything from the team from now on. Can be contact with VCs, contact with the tech team, can be just documentation about something. So it's not easy for them. I also received messages from builders that are afraid. They're just not reproaching, but also they are afraid. Many builders told me that if things are not changing within between 6 and 8 months, they won't be here anymore. They will die. Some of them told me about their reflection of changing blockchain, migrating their assets and their technology to another blockchain. Why? Of course, EVMs are maybe easier if you want to raise funds, but also on other blockchains, you have more users, more volume, more developers, and so on. So, uh, these things I'm talking to you, of course, you just have to trust me because I will not tell you the name of these guys. And trust me, if I'm telling you this and if I tweet about this last days, it's just for buzz. I mean, I don't care and I don't need that. On the contrary, I mean, I think it would be easier for me not to say all these things, to be very close to the core team and to be able to invite them in my Twitter spaces, and I would reach even more people, more reach, and potentially more revenue and so on. So trust me, I don't earn anything about this. Um, so the discussion now is about the complaint of the builders and their fear not to be there in the upcoming month if nothing changed in terms of adoption. And I would like this is and I see on the comment my friend Bitman saying, talking about someone it would be nice to invite it in your space. Pathetic as usual. Brother, just let's be clear. If these guys can come to my spaces, I would not have to do what I do. You know what I mean? So you don't need to believe me. You can think that I'm just lying, but you will see. And in a few months, you will say, oh my God, GRM alerts. He told us about this. So it's over for me, but I would like to have your opinions. Of course, it's hard because you don't have this messages I received, but maybe Arno, I know you know a lot of builders too. I'm not the only one to know builders here, and you are a builder too. So, did you receive such messages? And did you read or listen to this fear from builders that are afraid of what's happening on MultiversX, and their doubts, are they justified or not, in your opinion? I hope I was clear to start the debate. I did not prepare anything, to be honest.
So, thank you for your introduction. First of all, I want to say that it saddens me that you receive those kind of messages. I'm going to say and have an opinion that is, I think, very different from yours. I'm going to be very harsh with builders, but I will do so because I have been a builder in Web2 in various different startups as an employee, as a founder. I've had successes, I had failures. I had failures in raising money in front of VCs. I know what it is to crash a company. So now, this being said, we are in a very specific period of time because we are in the early stages of blockchain infrastructure. As Olivier said just before, the infrastructure is not ready for global scale adoption. What does that mean? It means that in the eyes of the world, blockchain is not ready. So when you're building a business, you have various parameters that are very important for you to be successful as a company. So I'm not, be careful, I'm not saying that you shouldn't build Web3 solutions right now. I'm saying that you should be aware that right now the market is playing against you. The market is not ready for broad scale adoption. So when you arrive with your blockchain solution or product, it will not be easy to conquer a market because there's so much parameters that are playing against you. You can go to VCs. VCs will say, they will look up on you and they will think blockchain, Solana halting, Ethereum hacks, etc., etc. It's not ready. I'm not going to risk putting my money in your company now because it's not ready. So there are all those parameters that are playing against builders. Then there is MultiversX. MultiversX is a smaller blockchain ecosystem, and there's no doubt saying, it's the data. We have smaller daily user numbers on MultiversX right now. That's for sure. Builders have the responsibility of their businesses. If right now you don't have enough users, unless you're building infrastructure, in my opinion, and it's going to be harsh, you have no right to complain. Because if you're targeting, I don't know, you're building a tokenized tokenization of buildings, etc. Your market is not just users on MultiversX. Your market is people outside in the world interested in investing in buying real estate. So you don't need to just target people on MultiversX. So yes, it's hard. You need to go out there and you need to compete against Web2 solutions that are doing this most likely in a way simpler way than yourself, because right now the infrastructure for account abstraction, technology abstraction on blockchain is not ready. So it's hard. It's hard mode to build on Web3 right now. Of course, if you build a solution on Solana, on Ethereum, you will have a native market of Web3 current users that is bigger than on MultiversX. There's no doubt. So you will most likely get more exposition. So it's maybe easier to do it on those on there. But to me, people in your DM that are complaining are people who are stressed, who are afraid of failing, and it's normal. I mean, when you're a builder, you are facing those risks every day. And I'm not saying that those risks are not valid, but I'm saying MultiversX, if you're the type of company that is addressing a market that is not blockchain infrastructure, MultiversX Foundation and the number of users on the network are not the real problem here. It's time to look at yourself and also acknowledge, and I've been there, I've failed, I've killed a company. So again, I'm talking from a position of knowledge here. Look at yourself. You have the ownership of your business. You need to make sure your business is a success. The foundation, etc., they're not the ones who control those parameters.
Thank you, Arno, for your point of view. Before Joachim, because you know the rule, the new are always prioritized here. We receive der.dev. Hello and welcome.
Hey, good morning, good evening, everyone. Hello, this is Der.
Yeah, welcome.
Hi, man.
We can't hear you.
Okay, you want me to go ahead and share?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to jump in quickly and just share maybe some thoughts or perspective or just reflection on the post and then how you articulated recently. So, I mean, for me, point blank period, entrepreneurship is hard. So anyone who wants to step, we use the term builder typically in Web3 crypto, but anyone who wants to do something is essentially embarking on this journey of entrepreneurship. So that's incredibly difficult. So I don't know the scope or the background or the profile of the folks who have been complaining, but I mean, the reality is if you want to make money quick in Web3, you do L2, you do all these kind of crazy things, liquid restaking, and you'll be fine, you'll make money, but are you really expanding the pie and trying to build something that's really unique? So the fact that people are struggling and wanting to exit the ecosystem in a certain point in time, okay, great, but what's the full story? What's the product market fit of their application? What have they done? Like, what can really the ecosystem do for them? Is the application even fundamentally viable? So, I mean, there's many examples, I don't want to quote names, to where the core application is just not viable. Of course, it's not going to thrive in any ecosystem, let alone MultiversX. So I think for me, it's a fallacy that just because you do something in crypto, you can be successful and you're going to have token launches and get funding and VCs. There still needs to be some path to product market fit. There still needs to be a recognition of the challenges of entrepreneurship, which, statistics essentially say over 5 years, most businesses will fail anyways. And I think that's even more severe in crypto. So I recognize that people may be frustrated, may have difficulties, may be challenged, but I think they also need to put into perspective the full story. And I think that's a much more balanced understanding of the situation.
Okay, very interesting point of view. Thank you very much, Faris. Stay with us. Maybe you will want to take the mic again after. Joachim, let's go.
Yeah, so I wanted to answer, but there I really liked your contribution, and you were kind of joining Arna's point. I'm going to kind of like play the devil's advocate in a way by going not completely against your opinion, but I want to focus on different aspects. Because as you say, building as an entrepreneur, as a builder, as we call it in Web3, is extremely difficult. And yes, most companies are going to fail. And as you say, like that is a global like truth. No matter where you build, what you build, it's always like the odds are against you as soon as you start building something. But I think we're getting a bit out of the scope of why some builders are being frustrated. In my opinion, and it's my opinion only, when you start building something in Web2, let's say you're using Amazon Web Services, Google Firebase, or IBM, etc. You're using well-documented, extremely established infrastructure to your solutions. You're using something where you can find hundreds, if not thousands, of like YouTube videos about it, documentation that has been gone over and over again. That makes it a lot easier. Like building an app with solutions like that is, I don't want to say a breeze, but is actually pretty easy. And then you come to blockchain, and blockchain is kind of like starting from scratch because you can't use those well-established solutions because the whole purpose is that we're going against that. We're going against the big guys, and we want to use decentralized tools to store data, value, information. And so we're starting from scratch, and we get access to documentation that is so much smaller and so little stress tested in a way compared to established solutions. And that's where I think a part of the frustrations comes from, is because I'm going to give an example with Google, for example. If you create a Google, like a Google developer account, you're going to get $1,000 in free credits. So you can use the cloud computing solutions, you can use the AI solutions, you can use all those solutions for quite a long amount of time for free. On blockchain, it isn't like a paid service, but you still have some limitations through, again, documentation. And part of the frustration comes from that there is not like I don't know if you say it in English, but like a carrot, like something that attracts you to come build on a blockchain, and that there is very little documentation compared to those solutions, and if we take the example of MvX, for example, MvX, if you want to have your app, your website to be compatible with the hub, you need to use React Native, or you need to create your own adaptable pack to their solution. So if you are not a big fan or don't have the knowledge to do React Native and you specialize in another form of software and coding, you have to adapt to the blockchain, to what the blockchain wants you to use. And if not, you need to go the very hefty way of creating your own package. And obviously, we have great builders that are helping each other, that are sharing. But if you were to go on any big platform, again, Amazon, Google, etc., no matter the language you're coding in, you will have a documentation that will tell you, okay, there is a package for this, you can use this package, it would allow you to connect, and you won't have to adapt to the blockchain. The solution is already adapted to you.
Can I
Yeah,
take this
go
one,
ahead,
Jeremy?
Arno. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll jump after.
I loved Dare's intervention, and I loved Joachim's intervention. They both bring a lot to the table. To Joachim's point, those frustrations are real because we have real lacks. You know, as Joachim said, I mean, the blockchain infrastructure is young, so of course it's not going to be documented as well documented as businesses that are worth hundreds, if not thousands, of billions. There's so much network effect in the dev community in those ecosystems. So of course we don't have that yet, and founders, whom I respect a lot because they're trying to come and push blockchain technology by promoting it, by building on it right now, and it's super hard because of the reasons that Joachim just said. But there's one point that I would like to nuance. If you are a builder and you're coming to build on a blockchain because there is an incentive to do so, then in my opinion you're doomed. If you're a builder, you're come to build on a blockchain because you see an opportunity to capture and you want to be ahead of the next businesses that are going to come later on. Blockchain reshuffles the cards in many industries because you have fundamentals that we didn't have in Web 2. It's a new technology, so you have new opportunities. You should be aware of that. And as Dare said, of course, I think it's 80 or 90% of tech startups die within the first year. And not even just for market, not having an addressable market reason. The number one reason is because between founders, you can have beef. So there's so many things that are against you when you're building a business. And you add on top the fact that blockchain infrastructure is young. It's fucking hard mode. So respect to the builders, but look at the real reasons. Building on blockchain is super hard. Yes, building on MultiversX is maybe even harder because the market is smaller. So this is a completely valid point. But it's always a trade-off. You have some good things on MultiversX that you don't have on other blockchain networks. So,
So I'm going to answer that. I agree. Building on a blockchain is, as we were saying, harder because of several aspects, but also brings incentives. Because as we've seen, it is, I won't say to a certain extent, it used to be easier to raise money through Web3 by selling a token, selling NFTs, etc., than it would be in the Web2 world, where you would have to go to VCs or private investors to raise equity. Here, and it kind of, as you were saying, like with projects failing during the first year in the Web2 world, in the Web3 world, it lasts a bit longer because there is kind of like an agonizing because they have funds that weren't due to the fact that they were making revenue, but to the fact that they had raised money. So certain projects have lived longer than they should have lived, thanks to, well, a form of crowdfunding, right? But if we take the example of MvX, there isn't that many projects that have attracted new users to MvX. I mean, we could take and I think part of it is, as you were saying, Arno, is account abstraction, which I'll go in more depth later. But there was and Opium did a very nice intervention in French yesterday, and just made a tweet about it in French. I might translate it later. But MvX went for the strategy of attracting users when they launched the X exchange, with the $1 billion value incentive on X exchange. That attracted a lot of users if it is through just through capital. But the problem was, once this, a few weeks in, after they had to change the reward system and made it less attractive, a lot of projects users left, and the ones that stayed was just like, okay, what else can I do on MvX? And that's where we came to the statement that, like, except the exchange, there was nothing to do. And so we had like an inflow of users, but there was no builders that were ready, and then they left again because there was nothing to do, or like they're just staying passively and like doing the basics, staking a GLD, having some energy on the exchange, but not participating actively in the ecosystem. And that's where I think, I don't want to say a mistake was made, but kind of, in the fact that now we have projects that have come further in their development, that actually have working products that could attract users. And I'll get to the responsibility of projects to attract users in a second. But there is no use that have stayed, and there is that aftertaste that people came to MvX and left and were just like, okay, I was there wasn't much to do. And it stays, first impressions matter. And the first impression MvX gave to a lot of users is there was a massive incentive to make some quick money, but once that left, there
Okay,
was nothing else to do.
it's clear. Maybe to help you guys, I made a list of the different thing that people are telling me. And so, with this list, it will be maybe easier for you to challenge the list. So, first of all, it was about the complicated communication with the team. It's getting better and better, but it's still a problem when the builders needs some information, documentation, and any other support. It's sometimes complicated. Also, you have the broken promises. So someone from the team will say, okay, we'll do this, and after, nothing for weeks, and after, oh, actually, we won't do this. It creates frustration for the builder. Also, of course, no volume, no users, no investors. And about this, of course, we can say it's about builders to create the volume to attract users and to attract investors. But we'll see afterwards that it's not that simple. Also, the blockchain's poor reputation with VCs. Some of them tried to raise funds, and before they even started to pitch the business model, the value proposition, and anything, VCs are asking on which blockchain are you developing. And when you say MultiversX, the VCs are not interested because it's not known Many of them did not even know Elrond, but they know MultiversX even less. So in terms of awareness, it's pretty much complicated. Also not attractive enough for developers. Many projects have a big issue in recruiting developers, and builders cannot build anything without developers. Also, the marketing that makes you think everything's going to be fine, but in the end, it's not. There too, frustration for the builders. Also, some builders tells me that the team is too busy developing products to create and developer friendly ecosystem that will attract investors. So sometimes builders would like the foundation to focus on creating this ecosystem with partnerships, awareness, marketing for builders, and so on, instead of spending hours and hours on export all of these things that, in their opinion, already work. And okay, so now the core product are here. Please focus on growing. Sorry, I give you the full list and take notes if you want, or I will send you in private if you need. But so after I will let you the mic. Also something that we already listened before many times. The team promotes certain players by giving them information and pushing them on the networks, which give them an advantage in surviving bear market periods. So there too, there is a frustration for some actors that don't receive the same attention, awareness, and information sometimes than others. Last but not least, and it's a very interesting point. I was said there is only one point of entry into the builder's business: the wallet and the GLD token. And these parameters are under the control of the foundation. This means that builders not only have to promote their business, but also the products and the business of MultiversX. So it's like a two-point marketing. So just to let everybody know, the complaint are not just about one thing, but it's an amount of many things that create the frustration. And as we said before on the space, the countdown was a catalyst for this very numerous things that grow these last weeks and months. Yeah, Arno.
Yeah, so I would divide all the points that the builders' complaints into three categories. There's one category that I will call the builder investor. This is the builder that also has a bag of EGLD, and when you have the builder complains about marketing, etc., 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 and promises not kept, to me, this is a builder that has the stress of building and also the stress of his or her bag, being attacked by the bear market and the performance of the GLD token. So this is one category, and of course, it's not easy to be a builder that has this double stress dose at the same time. The second category would be that's life. The MultiversX Foundation hasn't raised 200, 300, 500 million US dollars. This is the way they decided to build. It's their way, and you can't do anything about it. So yes, it's a bugger, and it slows down the fact that you have only one or two dedicated people to handle all the amount of builders on the ecosystem. But that's the way. I mean, of course, if you complain, if you ask for something, and instead of taking one business day, it takes a week, yeah, it's a bummer, and it's not cool. But it would be hard to imagine that the guys whom the work is to take care of the ecosystem of builders wanted to fail. So it's always a matter of expectation. And the third category, to me, would be pure and simple, not taking ownership of what's your responsibility. And the raising money part, for instance, I mean, just one day ago, if you're an early stage builder and you want to do a proof of concept, you can raise money. I mean, just 2 days ago, one DEX raised $265K. I mean, with drifters, a year ago, the token was exactly at the same price, $50. We raised 300K. I mean, if an NFT collection can do it, people can do it. There is money. I mean, there are investment vehicles. The Launchpad, okay, it's through the foundation, etc. But if you get in there and you manage to get in there, you can get millions. Black Hat Network, etc., etc. You have solutions to get funds. So, to me, again, people have to take ownership. Nobody is going to do it for you.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Let's not say again what you said before, but thank you, Arno, for your point. And you know what, guys, I really love this exchange because it's really balanced, and I hope you like it too. Joachim, let's go.
Yeah, so I'll start with the second category you talked about, that's life, that MvX raised very little funds compared to other layer ones or even layer two. But I think this is too easy, and I'm going to explain why. MvX right now is quite a big team. They have over 100% staff, which honestly is gigantic for I mean, we're past the stage of startup. It's an established company by now.
They have
And
70 engineers.
yeah, but that doesn't count for every aspect of the company, right? For example, interaction with the builders isn't done directly by engineers. It's done by other people. But anyway, the fund, saying that they only raised that many funds when they started is a fallacy in a way that it takes if the growth was completely platonic, there wasn't any evolution since then. But obviously each EGLD which they hold has gone up in value. They earn rewards through being staking providers and validators. There is revenue that is being generated, and it's been even promoted how much revenue they generate on Romanian newspapers. So you can't say it's like saying, oh no, you can't be harsh with Apple because they only start with 1 million, even if they're worth even if they're one of the biggest companies in the world. What they started with and where they are at today is two different things. MvX is no longer a company that started a few months ago or a year ago. We're talking about a company that has been around for a while, and we've seen that they've taken incentives and used money where in places that we could debate. So, for example, for the UTK part of white paper number 3 or tokenomics number 3, they did a $20,000 giveaway to people who just wrote posts about what the future of UTK could be. They gave 100 EGLD. I'm not sure if the winner has been picked already too. The investment thesis on why EGLD is a good investment. There is money that is being spent, and then those 100 EGLD, I know it has changed, but they spent 100 EGLD on a person writing an investment thesis, and then only offered $2,000 as development, as reward for developers during a massive event in Denver. It has now changed to 20 few thousands, which I'm thrilled about. But like, it shows for me like the wrong priorities. I would rather see, and same with like the hackathon. I'm very grateful for the hackathon. We participated. I see Dance is here too, who took part, and we both won prizes, and we're extremely grateful for this. But like they announced this one like massive 1 million, even though like half of it was the X Launchpad spot. Having done those hackathons earlier with lower amounts would have attracted more builders. And again, I'm not going to go into the whole how the hackathon took place, but the thresholds to participate as a project were very high, and we saw it with the winners. It was always the same builders that won, that have been here for a while. I can't recall a single project that hasn't been here for at least 6 months that was in the top 4 of each category. So yes, MvX raised very little funds, but I don't think we can use that to excuse them for every single decision that is made.
Joachim, I'm not saying it's an excuse. I'm saying it's a fact, and I'm in agreement with everything you said. There are resources being used. Those resources are a fact. The fact that they have this team, the fact that they have X amount of people taking care of the ecosystem, it's just a fact, and there's nothing we can do about it. I agree with you, though, that the resources that they are allocating in different areas, those completely we can discuss, and we can try to make sure that they spend those resources in a place in initiatives that help the builders. I completely agree. I'm just saying that complaining the fact that MultiversX only has 2 people about taking care of the whole builders ecosystem. Yeah, but that's the same rule for everybody. There's just 2 people. The fact that they have, I don't know, 100K a year for marketing initiatives to push, it's also a fact. Now, how can we help them, help builders more? That's completely valid, and I agree with this, and they can do better. There's lots of ways they could do better, and we should help them in a constructive way to, help builders more. I agree.
Okay. Joachim, thank you very much, and Arnaud too. If guys from the audience, guys or women actually, want to speak or give his opinion, feel free to do it. Let me check the comment. Well, actually, there was a misunderstanding with Bitman at the beginning of the space. And when he said, you're talking about people you're not inviting, he was talking about the MultiversX's team that is not around the table, and instead, whereas we speak about them. So there was a misunderstanding, and I replied that, of course, I invited them, but they did not follow up. So yeah, of course, everybody's welcome on GMMVX, but maybe they will come in the next one. Okay, because we don't have any more comments, and because I think we spoke in a balanced way about the different topics, I will thank everybody for joining this morning. Thank you, Arnaud. I know the your position are not sometimes easy, but thank you very much, my friend, for taking them. Joachim, thank you also for being on time, almost on time. I of course we need your strength, so feel free when I close the Twitter space to repost it to allow people to listen to the replay. Also, I mentioned that you can find the replay on the different podcast platforms: Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, Google Podcast, and so on. And see you next week for a new English GMMVX. and we will receive we'll receive Longin from Wandex. So it will be very interesting. And for the French people here, see you on Friday for a new GMMVX. We will receive the co-founder of Ternoa blockchain. So it will be also very, very exciting. Have a very good day and take care of yourself. Bye. We'll receive Longin from Wandex. So it will be very interesting. And for the French people here, see you on Friday for a new GMMVX. We will receive the co-founder of Ternoa blockchain. So it will be also very, very exciting. Have a very good day and take care of yourself. Bye.